Isn't this something? We're just getting back from the hospital where Chris was taken by ambulance this morning right after daylight. And we pull into the yard and pull into the house, and it's like all the babies are waiting anxiously for us to come back and get a report, including Mr. Gobbler over there, and get a report on Chris. She left here this morning by ambulance and came back by Ram truck, expressway Ram truck. And she is actually doing great. She had a seizure, not another stroke. But as I said, it scared me to death. But we're starting out anew. It seems like TC's over there. I saw Forrest somewhere. I think he may be over there behind a tree. I'll move up a little bit. Yeah, there's Forrest. He's waiting on Chris as well. Now they may be waiting on food, but Chris thinks that they're waiting on her, and I'm gonna agree with Chris. So we're gonna start this week's video out with this little shot, because I don't know, you know, the deer are not waiting on Chris probably, but these deer they're part of the family, and I think they know that, and so they are anxious to see when they saw Chris leave this morning in an ambulance and come back in this truck. And I'm sure they're happy to have her back, and they're not nearly as happy as I am to have her back out here. And I am just totally ecstatic. I was the most scared I've ever been in my life. But right now I'm just so thankful, and we are so blessed. And Chris is still totally on the road to recovery. Oh, what a beautiful evening. And we have deer in the prayer circle. They're definitely not praying. They're eating. There's Forrest laying over there all by himself. He's had so much to eat. I don't waste my time on grass. He actually does feed on the grass too, but there's big TC out there in the middle and a couple of the babies. And, you know, I guess they're all the little bucks there. One baby, and the rest of them are little bucks. TC's boys, they like to run around TC. You can see the difference in the size of TC and what they are. It's late in the evening, and the deer are just hanging around. I think the rut is pretty much over. But bucks are starting to hang around with each other again. And that's a couple of TC's youngins right there, I believe. Yeah, I guess it is a couple of TC's little youngins there. And one little baby girl. One little pretty baby girl. And of course, my boy that's turned into a man, Forrest. And he's definitely done that. He's definitely done that. We're walking really, really close to these deer. They're not paying a whole lot of attention. This little girl right here, it's just, I think she's just getting very, very friendly. And she doesn't eat out of my hand, but you can see I'm very, very close to her. And she's a little spooky, but not paying a whole lot of attention. Very close to Forrest also, and he's paying absolutely no attention at all. A deer is really, really secure with you when he'll turn his back on you like that and just lay there and not get up. They normally will always jump up and start looking around and looking for an escape route. But you can see. Now those are three are TC's boys right there, just like Forrest is. Forrest is one of TC's boys. And those are all the same age. That's the amazing thing. Those deers there, it looks like they might have got cheated on the genetics. There's some more deer over there around the feeders. But they didn't. They have the same genetics. They have the same genetics. But they're not. They don't have the big antlers, at least this year. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Some of them might have passed some of those genetics on. Those little deer don't hardly get to breed. Because when a doe comes in heat, the big boys runs them off. That boy right there probably does most of the breeding outside. I'm sure Forrest did quite a bit himself. And then there were 2 or 3 other really big bucks hanging around the house, and they've been around here recently. That more than likely they did some breeding. Well, not more than likely, without a doubt, they did some breeding also. But things are calming back down after the rut. Things are getting back to normal, and deer just hanging around, hanging out, and being, well, let's just say being yard deer. But I love him. Isn't he a beauty? I'm not very far from that deer. I'll zoom in just a little bit, but look at him, will you? He's a 250-pound plus deer. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This is a horrible sight. The buzzards have just flown in and started getting in the old dead tree, so I'm gonna run those off. But this is a beautiful sight as we look down on the water. We see ducks, lots of ducks. It's dead calm, 35 degrees this morning, the sun's up. The ducks are gonna fly out and start flying away, I'm sure, as I walk out. Gotta get rid of those buzzards. There they go, and there go the ducks. We have 0 and below 0 degree chill temperature coming in. As you look over there, looking kind of right into the sun, but you see just a beautiful, and scare those ducks a little bit there. They're pretty spooky. All of that dimpling that you see around on the water out there is ducks. Huge amount of them right over there. I'm gonna zoom way out there so you can see. And they're all up through there. That is a duck blind up there. I really don't hunt ducks much anymore. I actually have a buddy of mine here this morning that fishes and hunts with me a lot and has for many, many years. And his grandson, and they're actually over on the other lake duck hunting. There's even more ducks over there. But as you look, you can see that there are birds scattered, mostly in that upper end. You look down there and you can see a big bunch of seagulls. That's right, seagulls. And this is not the sea, but the shad are beginning to die. And the gulls have been around for the last couple of weeks. I don't like them either because they eat shad. However, they are pretty, and they mostly are catching the shad that are dying on top of the water. Of course, there's water turkeys here too, which you know I don't like. But you can see all of those. Just an incredibly beautiful morning. The sun's up. I'm going to just back away there and just show you what we're looking at from the front deck here. Chris is doing well this morning. I'm doing fantastic. And it's just a great day to be alive, even though the weather finally got a little bit of cold front, but God is still blessing us with the best winter ever. Okay. I want you to take a look at this guy that has come to have a little breakfast this morning with our, what we call affectionately Lucy's herd, our house deer. That is a nice, big, beautiful buck. That buck is way up there weight-wise. He looks like a 3-year-old deer. I'm gonna say he's 3 years old. Look at that rack on him. Will you look at that rack? And you can tell he's kind of a bully. Now look out there in the woods behind him. Behind him, you can see, I'm not doing a very good job with this camera. You can see behind him, TC, Thundercloud. One lady named him Thundercloud. TC stands for Thundercloud, and I think that's great. Thundercloud, TC. And you can see that big buck. That's a big, beautiful buck. He looks like maybe 10 or 12 point. He's just absolutely gorgeous, and he's simply eating. He's picking up some food there, and we're hoping to get him hanging around here a little bit more and be able to see him every week. And I'm hoping to find his sheds here in another 3 or 4 or 5, 6 weeks. He might lose them in January. Hopefully he loses them relatively close to the house, but he could be a long way off. But look at him, isn't he gorgeous? Man, oh man, what a beautiful deer. And it's so cool, the other deer have already eaten. We fed them. Apache's been here this morning. I fed Forrest on the porch. Apache gave him some extra also. Forrest is well taken care of. That little button buck's one of the babies right there. You can see his buttons, how big they are. Now, he's going to have some pretty nice horns this next year. You can see those buttons are big, round. That'll give you an indication that they're going to be really nice. But this guy right here, he's an awful good breed deer also, and I'm sure he's bred some does. So the deer should be getting bigger and better here at the Eagle. I hope he hangs around here and comes around about every day. He'd be nice to watch through the spring, especially when the horns start growing back and we start watching antlers grow again in a few months. You're dropping more than you're eating. Okay. You got some there on the floor.
Said, I want some South Fresh. That's what I want. I need a little deer food. I need a little deer food, yeah. I just happen to have some for you here, buddy. You're so messy. You're so messy. Here, come here. Come here, let's eat out of this. There you go. How's that? How's that, big boy? How's that, big boy? You got all your friends with you? Huh? You got all your friends, including Mr. Gobbler. Hey, big boy. Hey, big boy. Look at that big guy. That pretty or what? Hey, big boy. Ow, 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 ow. He says, what is that? What's a deer call? Here comes a deer. It's a deer call, Mr. Gobbler. You boys are just hanging around, aren't you, huh? You just hanging around, aren't you? Yeah. And Thundercloud out there. TC. Thundercloud. Yes, sir. I suppose y'all want a little food, huh? What about you, little 3-point guy, huh? You hungry as well? Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you're not having much trouble, are you? No, I'm sure not. I am sure not. Chris said, Forrest is outside. He put his foot in the bowl. What'd you put your foot in the bowl for? You do that when you're a little baby, not when you're a big boy like you are. Just trying to shake it up in there where you're stirring it. Are you thinking about coming up here too? Huh? Are you thinking about coming up here and helping him? I bet if I go throw you some out there, will that work? Will that work? Well, let's go do that.